Give me the piece of resistance, Emmett, and I won't shoot you down. Never! I'll never give you the piece of resistance. I'd rather die in a blaze of glory. Now face my alligator. Okay, you asked for it. I don't know what that was all about, but hey guys, it's the Black Critic Guy, and I'm back again with yet another top 10 list. Now this top 10 list was a request by one of my subscribers, Rachel Moran, and she probably gave me one of the most unique and interesting top 10 list requests I've ever gotten, and that is for a top 10 best siblings in anime. This is a list of anime characters that I personally feel like have unique and dynamic sibling relationships that don't veer into a sexual relationship. Emphasis on that. In my personal experience, whenever I would see an anime where the main character would have a brother or a sister, usually their other sibling is just pushed to the side and serves only to be a background character to pop up now and again and to be mentioned occasionally. But there's never really any development given to that other sibling or a connection or a bond that is built. But when they do focus on another sibling, usually, and I mean usually, especially in anime, they always take a very sexual direction with the sibling relationship, which, as you all know how I personally feel, I fucking hate when animes do shit like that. Just look at these animes for clarification. So it's a breath of fresh air whenever I would see an anime actually create and develop a strong sibling bond in an anime that isn't of a sexual nature. I just eat that shit up. It makes me so happy to see stuff like that. And before I start this list, I just want you guys to keep in mind that this is just my personal choices of who I feel like are the best siblings in anime. You may agree with my choices, you may disagree with the majority of them. Hell, you might feel like Sora and Haru should have been on the list. Just as long as you guys are respectful of my opinions, I won't have any problem whatsoever. And if you felt like I left anyone out of the list, be sure to leave a comment and let me know who your favorite siblings in anime are. And also, before we start this list, I do have one honorable mention. And this is sure to shock everybody watching this video as to why they didn't make it onto the list. And the main reason why they didn't make it on the list is because I never really fully watched the anime that featured this sibling pair, because I just never really found the time to watch the anime, so I don't really know how their relationship is. Is it strong? Is it weak? Does it get a lot of focus and attention? And I'm guessing I'm just stop beating around the bush. But the siblings in my honorable mention is Alphonse and Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist. He didn't put them on the list. Dislike, dislike, dislike! Yes, I know I just blew your fucking minds to hear that Edward and Alphonse did not make it on this list, considering they are like the go-to quintessential siblings in anime. But again, as I said earlier, I never fully watched Full Metal Alchemist to really grasp what their relationship is like. Is it strong? Is it dynamic? Is it interesting? But I will give props to the fact that Edward did sacrifice his own arm to bring his brother back. Even though he wasn't able to bring his brother back fully, that shows that he really cared about his brother. And I love seeing compassion like that, especially from siblings. So that's why I had to make mention to them. And also, I didn't want to get attacked. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people are freaking mad right now and probably just hit the dislike button. That's why I mentioned that earlier. But I mentioned them as my honorable mentions, and when I see Full Metal Alchemist, I just might do a Redux edition of the top 10 best siblings in anime. Who knows? But I'm gonna hold my ground and kick off this list. Starting off our list at number 10 is probably the most down-to-earth and casual brother and sister relationship on this entire list, and that is Keiichi and Megumi Morisato from Oh My Goddess. They have a very standard brother and sister relationship. It's not really that exciting. They know that they're brother and sister and they respect each other a lot, and they also share a lot of similar qualities, like their love for automobiles and motorcycles. They're both part of the auto club. They both attend the same college. But the reason I put them on the list is because they get along quite well with each other, and I do love their playful relationship relationship, Megumi would always come around and taunt Keiichi from time to time, and I just really like their bond. It's genuine, it's down to earth, and I just found it really adorable. Now my number 9 choice is a huge, monumental spoiler for an anime that I just recently reviewed back in May. It was literally the first anime I reviewed in May. So if you have not seen that anime and you don't want anything spoiled for you, skip to the number 8 choice by going to this number right here. Have they skipped? Can we continue? Okay, well, if for those of you who have seen Kill la Kill, you probably already know who my number 9 choice is, and that is Ryoko and Satsuki from Kill la Kill. You're probably scratching your head pondering as to why I chose Ryoko and Satsuki for the number 9 spot, considering they don't do many sisterly things with each other until the very end of the anime. But the reason that I put them on this list, not only because I was really surprised and shocked by this twist that they're actually sisters, but when I actually thought about it, their relationship seems like this whole sibling rivalry underneath it all. I mean, they're always fighting with each other, they're always arguing with each other, they're trying to one-up each other in every way, shape, or form. Doesn't it kind of seem like a sibling rivalry to you? At least it felt like that to me because I could really relate to their situation. When I was younger, I used to compete with my brother all the time. Like who could eat the most, who could stay up the most, who could get the most A's. There was always that internal competition between us. It was unspoken, but it was there. And that's the exact same feeling that I got with Ryoko and Satsuki's relationship. Not only that, but I found their bonding moment in the last episode really cute and adorable. I ate that shit up. Spreading anarchy across the nation is my number 8 choice, Panty and Stocking, aka the Anarchy Sisters from Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. Now the reason that I found this sibling relationship so unique and dynamic is because it shows a much more meaner and crueler side to a sibling relationship, being that they tease each other, they taunt each other, they poke fun at each other, they beat each other up sometimes. A real aggressive sibling relationship at best. And again, some sibling relationships are like that. Maybe not as playful as Panty and Stocking, but just as mean. But after all the fighting and taunting is done, they always find a way to come back together and kick some demon ass as the Anarchy Sisters, which makes their bond even stronger in my opinion. Although the way that the series ends kinda implies that maybe their strong sibling relationship wasn't what it seemed. But regardless, I just loved the Anarchy Sisters. I loved how they would bicker with each other, and I just loved their overall sibling relationship. Taking the sibling route instead of the romance route is my number 7 choice, Juichi and Miya Tachibana from Amagami SS. Now, considering that Amagami SS is a romance anime, when I heard that they were going to give an entire episode to Miya bonding with Juichi, I got really scared. I really got nervous because I thought they were gonna go down the whole romance route and Juichi would try to romance his own sister, and I was just like, please God, don't do it. This anime is already amazing. Don't ruin it by putting in an incestuous relationship. I mean, you already gave me stalker, bitch. Don't ruin it even more by making him end up with his sister. And I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. Not only for the fact that they did not go the romance route with Juichi and Miya, but the fact that they actually developed this relationship to be a strong sibling relationship. And I was just, guys, I was so happy. That episode with Juichi and his sister not only was one of my favorite episodes in the entire series, but also made me love and respect Amagami SS as a series even more for the mere fact that they actually bucked the trend of having the main character take the romantic route with his sister and actually took the route of building a strong and emotional and touching sibling relationship. And that's why I really love Miya and Juichi's relationship. Not only was it really well done, but it was really cute, it was really touching, and I just was so happy that they didn't take the incestuous route. That's why Amagami SS is one of my favorite romance animes. That and also the great love stories in the anime. But on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we got my number 6 choice, Akihisa and Akira Yoshi from Baka and Test Summon the Beast. Now, this relationship is not really an incestuous relationship, but it really veers that line between incest and normal sibling relationship. But they poke fun at that. That's what I loved about it. You know, it's not Yoshi jumping on his sister and his sister like, no, don't do it, Yoshi. It's actually the sister taunting him like, I'm gonna have to give you a kiss now. He's like, no, I'm fine, I don't want that. I love the fact that they played off of that and how humorous and playful their relationship really is. But not only is their relationship for the most part very playful, but they also share a lot of serious, emotional, and touching scenes that show you that they actually do care about each other. Playful, flirtatious, a bit serious at times, and overall fun. That is Akihisa and Akida's relationship in a nutshell. Making the world a better place for his little sister is my number 5 choice, Lelouch and Nunnally Lamperouge from Code Geass. What puts them so high on this list is that I really feel like Lelouch cares deeply for his sister. That's why he puts on this facade as Zero and why he wants to make the world a better place for his sister and also to free the people from the tyranny of Britannia, but mainly he does it for his sister. And the only time I ever saw Lelouch flip out, like literally flip out and just break character, is when they kidnapped his sister. He's just like, we gotta save Nunnally. That is the only time you ever see him really just lose his shit, like he doesn't know what to do. But it's not a one-sided relationship either. Nunnally really cares about her brother Lelouch and wishes that they could go back to a simpler time where they spend more time together, because she feels like he doesn't come around that much, considering, you know, he is kind of on the run from the law as well, so there's that. But whenever he finds time to do so, he makes sure that he goes and visits his sister, which shows a lot of dedication and love on Lelouch's behalf. And just the extremes that Lelouch goes through in order to make the world a better place for his sister is why I put them at the number 5 spot. Showing us that demons also have hearts is my number 4 choice, Hiei and Yukina from Yu Yu Hakusho. Probably the most tragic sibling relationship on this list, considering that Yukina never discovers that Hiei is actually her long-lost brother. Even though they have met each other many times throughout the series, she never finds out and Hiei never tells her, in order to protect her, of course. But it makes it just so sad and tragic that whole relationship is never really fully resolved, and it broke my heart by the end. But it's also a very strong sibling relationship, and the fact that Hiei goes through so many trials and tribulations just in order to make sure that Yukina is safe from harm, I mean, that shows brotherly dedication right there. I mean, he gets his Jagan eye so that he can keep an eye on Yukina. He goes through so many trials and tribulations when she gets kidnapped. I mean, this guy truly cares about his sister. And the very, very brief moments that they do share together, I found very touching. I couldn't help but smile at them. When the big sister power is activated, it can only be my number 3 choice, Tenma and Yakumo Skamato from School Rumble. Who didn't see this one coming? The minute that I saw School Rumble, I immediately fell in love with Tenma and Yakumo's relationship. I found it so unique, refreshing, and fascinating how you have the quiet and reserved Yakumo paired up with the loud and eccentric Tenma. They are polar opposites in every sense of the word, yet they make for one of the most dynamic sibling relationships I've ever seen in an anime. And I always thought to myself, how does Yakumo always put up with Tenma's shit? How does she not get irritated with Tenma's zaniness and outbursts all the time? And how does she always, put Tenma above herself and her needs? Thank God we had the second season, which really explored the beginning of their sibling relationship, which didn't come off on a good start. In fact, Yakumo really hated Tenma. She couldn't stand her and her zaniness and her scatterbrainness. She just didn't like her. But what she realized later on is that Tenma truly cared about Yakumo and put Yakumo above herself and her needs, which later made Yakumo do the same for her later on in the future, which kind of set the foundation for what the relationship was like throughout the entire series. I truly feel the love between these two and how much they both care about each other. And although Yakumo never does end up with Harima, I'm very happy that she does have a sister like Tenma, because with Tenma, it's never a boring day. You cannot deny that. Becoming king and queen of the gaming world to face the one true god is my number 2 choice, Sora and Shiro from No Game, No Life. Yeah, I put them on the list. And at number 2, now I know many of you may be shocked to see them so high up on this list considering I just recently saw the anime and did a review on it, but the reason I put them so high on this list is not only because I really love their connection and their relationship, but they are without a doubt one of the most fascinating, one of the coolest, and one of the strongest sibling relationships I've ever seen in an anime. I mean, these two are just unstoppable as a duo, and there is no incestuous vibe with their relationship. Yeah, they do kiss one time in the anime, but it's not like, oh, I love you, sis. Oh, I love you too, brother. It was a kiss as part of a strategy, and I thought that was brilliant. Together, they are one powerful mind, one formidable opponent that can face any enemy and any threat that comes their way. And whenever they do get split apart, not only makes for some comedic situations, but also there was an entire episode where they weren't together. And I just loved how they put 150% trust in the other. That is some powerful shit right there. That is a strong bond, if ever there was one. Overall, Sora and Shiro just impressed the shit out of me at how powerful and dynamic their relationship was. And there was no freaking way that I would not put them on this list. And they are definitely deserving of the number 2 spot. And now we get to the number 1 pair of siblings. And who could that be? Who could beat out Sora and Shiro, Tenma and Yakumo, and all the others that I just mentioned? Well, the siblings that reached the number 1 spot is Hikaru and Kaoru from Ouran High School Host Club. They have, in my opinion, what I like to call a beautiful sibling relationship. And that's not because they're good looking, it's because I really felt a strong bond and connection with the two. They have such a dynamic relationship and they really look out for each other. Even back then when people couldn't tell them apart from one another, I really just love their development, I love their connection, and I love how they're able to do some of the most awkwardest things you could do with your brother without ever being embarrassed by it. I mean, seriously, they literally come this close to kissing yet none of them flinch. That is a strong relationship right there. Hell, I could never do that with my brother without being disgusted. Every episode that focuses on Hikaru and Kaoru in the series are without a doubt one of my favorites. Having the most interesting backstory, the most growth, the most interesting development. I just love this sibling pair. I love them to death. They have a beautiful and dynamic sibling relationship, and that is why they are my number 1 siblings in anime. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my list of the top 10 siblings in anime. And I would like to know, what did you guys think about my list? Did you agree with it? Did you disagree with it? Did you feel like I left any out? Are you pissed off that Edward and Alphonse were not on the list? Comment below and let me know your frustration. And stay tuned tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Movie Warfare, Captain America versus the Batman. It's gonna be a very interesting movie warfare with special guest Comic Uno. So I'm really excited to do that. I have a new video on We Live Film, so be sure to check that out. I have some movie reviews, anime reviews, yada yada, you know the gist. And next Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be the monthly live chat, so stay tuned for that. And if you have not voted in the anime poll yet, link will be in the description. Go vote to your heart's desire as to what animes you would like for me to review in the month of August. But until then, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Walton II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.